Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, for you guys, is an Indiana Jones and a Tintin related video. So as you guys know, Indiana Jones 5, which is yet to be titled, it is still untitled. It's coming out next year, I believe June 30th, sometime at the end of June, early July, 2023. Seeing as if it doesn't get another delay. James Mangold is directing, of course, who directed like Ford versus Ferrari, The Wolverine, Logan, stuff like that. Taking over from Steven Spielberg, who did 1 through 4. Of course, this is also famously John Williams' last role in a movie, which is pretty crazy. Of course, he does the music. That's pretty insane. Harrison Ford is also very effing old and kind of senile, so I'd imagine this is going to be his last movie, or at least one of his last movies. This movie has a lot of stuff riding on it. It's got a lot of tension, a lot of excitement, a lot of build-up. But then, you ask your question, you go, all right, I love Indiana Jones 1. I love 2. I like 3, and I really freaking love 4. I don't know why people hate the Crystal Skull. I think it's a fantastic, might even be my favorite one. But, I love all the movies, essentially, pretty much all the same. I love Indiana Jones. The Lego games are great. The franchise is awesome. But, you ask yourself, what do we do after Indiana Jones 5? Let's say this is truly the last Indiana Jones film, with Harrison Ford. What are we going to do after that? You go, they got Tomb Raider. Okay, well, the Tomb Raider movie tanked. It tanked. We have, of course, Uncharted with Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. I enjoyed it. I didn't see Tomb Raider, but I did see Uncharted. I reviewed it. I really enjoyed it. I would buy it on Blu-ray one day whenever I get money, or whenever I can. So I definitely will purchase that whenever I have the opportunity. But it's a fun movie. But the Uncharted video games are freaking awesome, man. Uncharted 1 through 4 and The Lost Legacy are fantastic video games. But they're video games. They're not feature-length film franchises, which video games, they are more or less than just, it's just another video game. Their video games are like blockbuster hits nowadays, but, it's not a film. And then we get, after Indiana Jones, what do they reboot? No, well, they go with, of course, Tintin. Now, we did get a Tintin film called The Adventures of Tintin, or in some countries or whatever, The Adventures of Tintin, Secret of the Unicorn, which is based off of two Hergé is the creator of Tintin, 2 Hergé Tintin comic strips, or comics, I guess, Secret of the Unicorn, and of course, Golden Crabs. Now, that sounds really weird when I say it out loud, but that's the name of the book. So, it is very much a strange franchise, because on the one hand, not a lot of people know about it, then on the other hand, some people do. And like myself, I got into the Tintin franchise in 2011, 10 years ago, when the Tintin film came out, with, of course, Jamie Bell, Andy Serkis, and all that. Peter Jackson directed, Steven Spielberg, of course, I believe, executive produced. And if you weren't in the know, Tintin 1 was supposed to be a trilogy of sorts. It was, Peter Jackson directs the first one, and then Peter Jackson executive produces the second, while Spielberg, who was producer on the first, now directs the second. Of course, it didn't end up happening. I don't know. Critics enjoyed it. I think it was like 75%. It's easily one of my top favorite films of all time. Easily one of my favorite animated films of all time. Not just because I saw it as a kid, but I freaking love it. It's a great film. But even at 23, it's not a kid's film. Trust me, it's for all ages. In fact, I'd argue it's more for teens and adults anyway. It's very much a grounded, fun, awesome. Basically, it's an amalgamation of Uncharted and Tintin, Uncharted and Indiana Jones. It's kind of like every epic, action-packed, globe-trotting adventurer trope that you can have, except that there's an old bearded, crusty guy, 13, 14, not 13, 14, I'd say like 18, 19-year-old, and a dog, Snowy. And it works. The comic books worked. I have some of them. I read them. They're awesome. The Adventures of Tintin show, which I believe was like the 80s or 90s when that came out, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. I have the entire show, the first 3 seasons, and it's just a fantastic show. Definitely, like I said, definitely not for kids, this show, even though it looks kind of kiddie, it definitely isn't. There's a lot of guns, a lot of violence, there's a suicide thing, so there's drugs, a lot of opioids, a lot of, different, chloroform, just tripped out drug trips. It's a weird-ass show, but it's a good show. And this film, The Adventures of Tintin in 2011, really kickstarted my love for it. I got the video game. It's really where this goes, because after Indiana Jones 5 is over, what else do you have? Maybe Uncharted, maybe Tomb Raider, maybe they could, concoct some weird thing up, but it really much, in my opinion, the future of this Indiana Jones franchise is Tintin. It's really the best option. You know, I mean, you got a butt ton of things to draw upon. Tintin in America, they go to the moon, they go to Japan, they go to so many awesome places in these comic books, and there's so many amazing adventures that aren't yet adapted into movie that, you know, were maybe an episode of the TV show, but it's very much a franchise that needs to keep going. And the fact that they made a first film, and, you know, critics moderately enjoyed it. I don't know if it made a whole lot of money. It probably didn't. That's probably why we haven't gotten a sequel. But, you know, every few years, Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson, they're interviewed, and, you know, the interviewer was like, hey, where's Tintin 2? And they're like, every effing time. I swear to God, every time. They're like, oh, well, we're working on it. I guarantee you. They're not working on it. They're full of trash. Look, Steven Spielberg was going to direct. I believe Steven's last movie was Ready Player One. He probably did something else. I don't know. I know he did a bunch of movies. He did the BFG. There's a few movies I didn't see. I don't know. I don't know what his last film was. I think Peter Jackson's last effing film was like the one like Machines or some kind of weird like, you know, teen adult esque like novel turned into movie. I don't know, like Turning Machines. I don't know, something weird. Apparently that tanked. It tanked, and you know, that got shot. I enjoyed the Hobbit movies, you know, from him. I enjoyed Lord of the Rings. You know, Peter Jackson and Steven Spielberg make good things, and when they collaborate with Tintin, it was honestly a masterpiece. I love Tintin. It's a great movie and a great franchise, and I think that there are so many more. Again, if you read the books, and watched the show, there's so many adventures you could take and splice and kind of add to another movie. You could easily make a trilogy, a quintology, a freaking, you know, saga out of this Tintin franchise. And honestly, the way they combine motion capture, which is how they did, you know, Snoke and Gollum and Thanos and Davy Jones and all these crazy CGI characters that, you know, Avatar, you look at them and you go, holy shit, that's CG? You know what I mean? That's the intended response. Oh my gosh, wow, that's not a person? You know, like I was rewatching Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3 with Nanny Poppy, and I was telling them, like, that's not a dude in a costume. Like, that is CGI from 2006 and 2007, and it looks flawless. So, motion capture technology is very much out there, right? That's also how they do video games, like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Uncharted even. They do stuff like that. Lego games tried to do it, didn't really work out. But, you know, motion capture is not dead, I don't think, and they can really do a lot of cool things with it. But they just have to take that step, they have to take that initiative, and they have to do it. And it's very, you know, mind-boggling and kind of makes me a little bit mad that we haven't had a Tintin 2 in 10 freaking years, because it's such a good franchise, and the movie was so good, you know, there's so many awesome... They even leave the movie at a cliffhanger, you know what I mean? The whole Red Raccoon's treasure arc in the Tintin show and comics is that they go find the treasure they found in the Unicorn novel comic, and it's very much is cool that, you know, they did that. Red Raccoon's treasure isn't my favorite arc. I think it's kind of my least favorite one of them. Tintin just kind of goes underwater, fights the shark, and finds the treasure, boom, shebang. But other than that, you know, they could influence a lot of different stories. Like, again, where he goes to America, goes to the moon, goes to Japan. I mean, it goes to Ireland. I mean, it's freaking endless. You know what I mean? The stuff they do is endless in this show. And they can even make something else new, you know? But get Jamie back, get Andy back, get even Steven or Peter back, because apparently they're not busy, since they haven't made a movie in God knows how long. It's either just the movie tanked, and that's why it's never going to get a sequel, or they're lazy and they don't want to make it. Because, again, every few years, they kind of come out of their homes or their shells, they come out of the basement, and they go, we're working on Tintin 2! And then they sunk back right into the basement. I swear to God, it's the most aggravating thing in the world, because all they want to see is Tintin 2. And again, with Indiana Jones kind of leaving the scene, so to speak, I would imagine, because he's old, Harrison, Tintin is the next step in the action-adventure, globe-trotting, treasure-finding kind of genre. Because, you know, a lot of people like Tomb Raider, the movie. A lot of people liked Uncharted, myself included. But I'd rather see Tintin, especially in that motion capture, because now, you know, if you rewatch Tintin from 2011, it holds up flawlessly. Like, zero shots are like, oh, that's kind of old-era animation, you know. Kind of like Polar Express. You know, it's the same technology, but it looks a little bit dated because they were kind of just using it for the first time. This is like, you know, Tintin looks effing flawless. And the fact that, you know, if they were to do that in 2022, 2023, whatever, it would look even better than it did before. So again, I just kind of wanted to put that out there. I think that Tintin really is the future of this Indiana Jones, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, you know, style of genre, so to speak. And I think that it's kind of a shame we're not getting more out of that franchise, even though there's so much to adapt. I swear to God, I should be a director or a voice actor or something, motion capture, and just do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of waiting. I'm gonna do it. screw it. You know what I mean? Give me your money. I'll do a Kickstarter. Give me a few $1 million, and I'll make a good ass sequel to Tintin. All right, that's my thing. Give me some money, and I'll make a movie. All right, I just don't get. I mean, give me your money, but don't give me your money. You know, I'm not actually doing that. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little video of me talking about the future of Indiana Jones, aka the future of this kind of genre itself. And again, I truly think Tintin is the answer to all of those questions. Again, tell me in the comments down below what you think. What's your favorite? You like Tomb Raider, Uncharted, Indiana Jones, Tintin? And if you do like Tintin, have you seen the movie? Have you seen the show? Have you read the comics? What's your favorite arc from Tintin franchise? Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.